Okay, welcome to NCCERconnect. In this webinar, I'm going to walk you through the basics of getting started with NCCERconnect as an instructor, and we'll talk about creating a course, getting your students registered to your course, and we'll dive in a little bit so you can see some of the tools that we have available to you in NCCERconnect, as well as some tips and tricks on how you can get started teaching for your first NCCERconnect course. First, I'm at the NCCERconnect.com website. And what I like to always point out when you're getting familiar with NCCERconnect, be aware of the support button here. There's lots of helpful recorded webinars and recorded how-to videos and quick start guides that you and your students can get access to right under the support option here. If you're looking to see what titles are available, make sure you check out the titles are available button here to see where we do have an NCCERconnect and where we do not. So the purpose of NCCERconnect is to provide an interactive learning experience for your students and yourself. It is a complete online learning management system that does come with a fully embedded EText that comes with each NCCERconnect. Whether you're using a print book or not, you will have access to an EText. And it can be used in a hybrid situation where you teach part of your class online and the other part in the classroom for your hands-on skill stuff, as well as a complete online course. Okay, to get started, first you're going to want to register for NCCERconnect. So if you haven't already registered as an instructor, when you come here, you'll select the register option. Make sure you choose educator and not student. You want to choose educator. And then you need to enter, yes, I have an access code that you should be receiving from your NCCER executive director. After that, you can follow the prompts to create your username and password and enter your personal information with that access code. Once you're completed with that, you'll be able to log into NCCERconnect. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that we've completed the registration process, and I'm going to click sign in, which I've done already here, and open up my NCCERconnect. From this page here, this is your Instructor Dashboard. This is where you'll see all of your courses that you have created. So for the first time, this will probably be blank. I can see other courses that I've created. I just created this core class demo, which was today, a few minutes ago. I'm going to show you how you can do that. And if I scroll down, you can see I have lots of other courses here. I can move them around. These are all my different courses that I've created. So if you are teaching multiple sections or multiple crafts, you can create as many as you'd like as an instructor in here, and you can categorize them as you see fit. Before we get into going through NCCERconnect, I want to show you how you can get started in creating your first course. To get started, on the top right, you want to select Create or Copy a Course right here. From here, it's going to ask you to choose from the catalog what course you want to create. So every NCCERconnect is book and level specific. So if you're teaching electrical level 1, you'll have to search for electrical level 1. I find the easiest way to do that is to just type in NCCER and hit search. What this will do is it will search the entire Pearson catalog for any NCCERconnect course available. It doesn't take too long. It's just searching for everything we have. I think there's about 54 courses that we do have available for NCCER. Yep, 54 of them, and here's where you would now select the book that you're currently using. So I mentioned electrical level 1, so remember it is specific to the level and the edition, so let's go down and actually find electrical level 1. Here it is, NCCERconnect electrical level 1, it's a 9th edition. So if this is the book you're using, you would simply click select. Now it's going to ask you to create your course. So if I scroll down here, anything that's required by little red asterisks is what you need to fill out. There's only a few things. You can name your course whatever you would want. I just named it electrical level 1. I need demo course. Now it's just going to ask you your start dates. So we're going to make today August 3rd the start date, and the end dates. You can go out as far as 24 months. So if you want to extend it for students to come back and review, you can certainly do that. I'm going to set it to end on December 31st. The enrollment dates, now this is when you're going to allow students to enroll in your course. You can set that for any time as well. I'm just going to match my exact course dates there. Now scroll down and you want to click Create Course. So that's all there is to it, to starting and getting started with NCCERconnect with your first course. All I had to do was find the title I was using, name that course, and select my start and end dates. Now I can return to my courses. And you're going to see that course we just created showing up here. However, it's grayed out. I can still move it around, but I can't access it yet. It's not live. Once it's live, it'll be a blue shade color like this. Again, that doesn't take more than a few minutes. So by the time we're done talking here, that'll be live and ready to use. But a few minutes ago, I created this course so we can go into it and actually see what it looks like. Before I go into this, there's a couple things I like to point out. So what I've done now is I've created my first course. One of the questions I get often is how do they get connected to my course? The nice part about that is this course ID that you see on top, that's what we call this. It's your last name followed by a few numbers. Every course will have that. If I scroll down and see all of these courses, they all have what we call a course ID. This is a very important number. It helps link your students to your exact course. You can see there's not one yet generated for this course we just created because it's not live yet. Once it is live, you're going to see a course ID show up there. That's what you need to provide your students so they can connect to your course. I'm going to show you a little tip on how to make that a little bit easier. Below each of your courses, you see a little details cog here. If I select that, there's an option here not only to edit your course details. If you want to change the start dates or the name or anything like that, you can edit your course details here. But for this case, it's get registration instructions. So what I like to recommend instructors do is once they create their course, go ahead and click this. It's going to generate a nice little PDF here for you that's going to populate with step-by-step instructions on how your students can register. And what I like to say is once this generates here, it'll go ahead and you can print this out. It'll give them the step-by-step instructions along with the course ID that will be pre-populated into this. So here it is. So you can either download this and email it to your students or print it and hand it to them on the first day of class. But what this is showing here, step-by-step instructions like I mentioned, and it also pre-populates with that course ID I told you about. So you don't have to remember to add it or remember typing it wrong. It's going to put it in here for you automatically and then just hand this to students. So that's the quickest and most efficient way for your students to register to your course. That gives you all the steps on how to do it. Okay, so let's refresh this page. So I've refreshed the page and you can see that that course we just created is already live. So that's how quick it is to kind of create your first course. You can see I have no students enrolled here. If I scroll down, I have a core 5E course here. They actually do have 2 students enrolled. So that's what it'll look like. As your students enroll, you're going to see this number go up. We're going to go back to that course later because I want to show you what a populated gradebook looks like. But for this case, let's go to this brand new course that we just created for core. I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to assume that this is our first day. I just created my first course. Now I want to go into it. And maybe I want to make a few changes before my students show up for class and before they register. So I can look here. This is what it looks like. I'm an instructor. I can tell that because it says Instructor Home here. The first thing I notice is welcome, my welcome announcements. So here's where I can create announcements and have my students see what they're due today. It's a great way to get familiar with your students and make sure that they are aware to check back here all the time. You can communicate great with them via our announcement board. You now see an at a glance view of your gradebook. So I don't have anything assigned yet, and no students have taken anything, so it's blank. But once they start to complete things and I assign things, this will start to populate with the 30,000-foot view of your class. It'll give you your class average. It'll show you what upcoming assignments in the near future are and how they're doing. And then, of course, if you want to click Manage Gradebook, we're going to show you that too. It's going to give you a much more detailed view of your class, your students, your individual scores, and so on. Below that, these are your assignments. So this is everything that we have generated automatically for you. So it's pre-populated publisher material. This is all written in conjunction with NCCER and Pearson by subject matter experts. So you have your reading assignments, your concept checks, and trade terms for every module. Now on day 1, if you don't do anything, Every module and every assignment is available for students to go through at their own pace and take on their own. But you can also customize that. You can have it match your syllabus, where you hide your assignments and just assign them on the day that they're due, which is sometimes a little bit easier way to not let your students get too overwhelmed or go too far ahead. And we're going to show you how to do that. Okay, so the other thing I'll show you here, this is my Instructor Home. So I always like to show the student home, or it's a View student home here. This gives you a nice peek into your student home. So here's what it would look like for a student if they signed into your course today. It's going to show them a 2-week at-a-glance view of their class. You can see that today is August 3rd. Everything is an announcement, and there's a few homework assignments here. Everything is available to them today. And there's no due date set because I haven't done anything yet. So here you can see those announcements I was talking about. There's a default welcome to NCCERconnect announcement. What is past due? I can see if a student, if I'm past due on anything. And then of course I can see my current assignments of the student listed here. And you can see every module is listed because I haven't unassigned anything. And they all look very similar. Read, concept check, trade term. That's kind of your learning path that we're asking the students to go through. On the very bottom, a student can see what they've completed. In this case, there's 0 because they haven't done anything yet. Okay, so let me go back now that I've shown you what it looks like for a student and what it looks like as an instructor. By default, let's make a couple changes so you can see kind of a little tip and best practice that I see most instructors or a lot of instructors doing. So the first thing I'm going to do, if it's my day 1 class, is I'm going to make an announcement. So I'm going to click Manage Announcements. And I'm going to click Create Announcement. Okay, I'm going to have it posted today. I'm going to say, welcome to day 1. Make sure to complete all assignments on time. Okay, I can bold that, underline it. Down here, I can say, you may want to visit www.nccr.org. So I can put a little link in here for them. It's just a little idea of a few things you can do. You can add pictures in here if you want to add a picture. You can format it the way you see fit. In this case, really simple. I've added a little title and some body to the message. I'm going to hit Save and Announce. Okay, so that's my first step that I'm going to take here. Go back to my course home. I made my announcement. Now I want to manage my assignments. I don't want my students to have access to everything. I just want to have them access to a couple modules to start the day, to start the week. So I'm going to click Manage Assignments here. This brings me to an instructor view of all my assignments where I can make changes to them. So you can see here that I have reading, concept check, trade terms, review questions for every module. And if I look in the assigned column, if there's a green check mark next to it, that means it's assigned to students and they can complete it. There's a start date, but no due dates. The only thing that's not assigned by default are the review questions. These are just more practice, kind of like a quiz if you want to assign a quiz to them. Again, keep in mind, these are totally separate from the NCCER credentialing exams. These are just preparation and review and practice for them leading up to that exam. So I'm going to show you here now how you can unassign everything at once. What I like to do, rather than going to the right here and hit unassign on each one, I like to click on Change Dates and Assign Status on the top. That brings up a similar view. You can still see below here all my assignments. But what it shows here is, here's my multiple assignment settings kind of row. Everything I do up here controls anything I select below it. So I'm going to show you how that works. If I click the little box in the top left here, that automatically selects every assignment in my course. Now, anything I do here will automatically reflect below. So if I want to assign or unassign everything checked, I just click unassign and hit apply. When I hit that, you're going to see all these assigned items move to unassigned. Okay, so with that one click, I've now unassigned everything for my students. They will not have access to anything. Okay, now I'm going to uncheck everything by clicking that box up here again, the top left. Now let's go individually and let's just assign module 1. I'll assign everything there. Let's click assign, apply. Now those for module 1 are assigned. I'll leave today as a start date. Let's set a due date. Let's make them due on Wednesday. Apply. You can see that all populated right there. Now I'm going to quickly uncheck these by double clicking that. Now let's go to module 2. Let's just assign 2 modules to start the week off here. Assign, apply. Let's set a different due date for these. With module 2, we'll make them due on Friday. Apply. Okay, so that's just a little getting started kind of best practice that I've done, which is relatively simple. I'm now going to click update all settings to make sure those are all updated and reflected. Okay, and I click done. And again, we have a short video and step-by-step how to do what I just did, but you can see from there in a few buttons, I've now assigned modules 1 and 2, the green check marks, and everything below it's unassigned. And I've added some due dates here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my home page. I'll always go back here and I'll click on View Student Home to check what I've done to make sure it looks okay for a student. So now let's see View Student Home. If you remember when we came here before, everything was available on today's date, Monday. Now the only thing on today's date are 2 announcements. And I can see as a student, I have a couple things due on Wednesday, some homework and a quiz. I have some homework due on Friday. If I scroll down, here are my announcements. There's one I just made, even the link I put in here. Nothing is past due yet. But now my current assignments, instead of seeing all those modules listed here, you can see I just have these due on August 5th, due on August 7th, a lot more digestible for a student, and I can't go too far ahead. As I complete these, they'll show up on the completed assignments, and I'll be able to view all my results as a student by clicking the results button on the left-hand side. All right, so let's go into this now and actually see what it looks like. So I've made a couple changes as an instructor. I've unassigned stuff, I've made an announcement, I've put some due dates. Let's go to reading 1 here. If I'm a student now, I want to click on reading 1 and click on the EText. The nice part about this is, again, every title comes with an EText. EText is available on all mobile devices, so you can access it on your iPad, your iPhone, your Android device. And it is a really nice tool. So what I like to show students here, you can click through it by clicking on the right-hand side here. You can see I've made a bunch of notes in here already. I can keep clicking through here. So as students read this, they can go ahead and select items and highlight them. So if this is an important portion here, I can go ahead and select this term, let go, choose a color, and it highlights it for me. I can also make a note. So if I want to click the little pencil, as a student, I can make that note saying this is important and hit save. Okay, so I'm effectively creating my own sort of study guide for this. Again, you can bookmark pages as well. So if I click on the bookmark page here, it'll bookmark that page for me. And at any point as a student, I can now go back and review that and see what pages I've bookmarked. I can also search the entire EText. So if I want to search through this for a specific term or phrase, I can click search, and it will search the entire EText and show me every page that shows up on. So instructors can do that as well as students if you're looking for something quickly. If I click the top left, these 3 little lines, that's my table of contents. Now I can jump around the book as I see fit. So if I want to jump to a different section, all I've got to do is select it and go right through it. My history, these are all my bookmarks. If I click history, this is going to show me the bookmarks that I've made in my recent history. I can go back to them quickly. Same with my notebook. Any notes that I've made in here, I can easily find them, categorize them, I can print them, filter them. But again, this keeps everything nicely and neat in my online EText that I can access anywhere, anytime. You can also download the EText using the Pearson EText app if you want to access it offline. Okay, so that's EText. Now as a student, I've completed that. There's a little green check mark there. I'm going to click OK. If I scroll down a little further now, I can see I've Module 1, that reading assignment is gone because I've completed it, and it's showing up under my completed assignments below. The next thing I'm going to want to do as a student is select a concept check. I want to understand where I'm struggling and where I might need help. So what this does here is it gives me practice questions for this concept. So I'll click on question number 1 here. Again, as I'm going into this, you'll see this later, but the date that I access it, the time I spent in it, the scores are all timestamped and tracked and kept into your grade book, so you'll be able to see that as the instructor. So here's a question. I'll read the question. I'll choose an answer, and I'll hit check answer. If I get it incorrect, in this case I did, it's going to give me a little rationale and a page where it's covered in the EText or the book. I get one more shot here for a concept check. If I get it wrong, it's going to tell me the correct answer was D, my answer is A. The next question. Okay, the same idea here. And as you get questions right or wrong, it'll go ahead and it will change my score on the top. So you can see my score is 0 because I've gotten all them wrong. But if I get this one right, you can see my score goes up. Okay, so we'll go through these, getting the right questions. Now students kind of understanding where they're struggling, and they can see their results later on. And this is all tracked in the gradebook. Okay, so I won't take any more of them. That's kind of how a concept check works. I'm gonna hit save. You can see I got a couple right, a couple wrong. Hit OK. Oops, go back to my student home there. You can see now the concept check is still available because I haven't completed it. But I'm going to move over and skip that and go to the trade terms so you can see what they look like. In this case, I have 5 trade terms, kind of active learning tools for Module 1. So I select question 2 or trade term 2. This is a simple drop down. Some of them are different. Some of them are drag and drops. But this is how it would work. The reading term, they're just putting a drop down one here. So again, the goal is to kind of get them clicking, get them doing things a little bit differently to practice different terms and different concepts. Check your answer, incorrect, and try again. Okay, again, there are other ones where you can do a drag and drop. I'm not sure if they're already listed here, but there are other ones that look a little bit different. This is not a drag and drop. Okay, so lots of different things they can practice in here. And I'm going to click OK, go back to my student home here. And again, I'm logged in as an instructor, so it takes me a couple extra clicks to get back there. But a student would just return right to here. And then I made this review questions thing available. Again, that's like a concept check, but in this case, it doesn't give them the option to get a rationale or take it again. It's more of a kind of a quiz. So I choose an answer, I get no feedback right here. It's just kind of a quiz that it's going to be graded and at the end and put into your gradebook. Okay, so I'm just going to submit this, submit anyway. I got a couple right, a couple wrong. Now again, this is going to track how much time I spent, the date I started it, and the due date. Okay, I can go to my results. I mentioned before, a student at any point can see their results and see how they're doing. So I can see here my review questions, here's how I'm doing. So they know where they stand in the class, and they know also that the instructor can see all this as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my main menu. So I've done a few things there, and you've seen now that I've actually taken a few things, even though I'm kind of a ghost student in there because I'm an instructor, you can see it's starting to populate my kind of 30,000 foot view grade book here. So it shows that there's a couple things I assigned. It's gonna show you what your scores are, what your class average are here. Okay, so I'm gonna go over now to that course I mentioned earlier, that I have a couple students listed, so you can see a little bit more in-depth look. This is my core 5E course. I have 2 students enrolled. So I'm going to open this one up. This will be very similar to what I showed you, but in this case, there are some scores generated here because I did go in as a student and quickly took a few items. So here you can see my class average now is a 56. I can see I had a pop quiz that I just assigned. It's due on August 11th. 0 out of 2 of my students completed it. I can easily send them a reminder. I have a couple other pop quizzes that I set here, some practice due. So these are all things that I created. If I want to take a deeper dive into this gradebook, I'm going to click Manage Gradebook here. This now gives me the option to see my class roster. I have 2 students. I can view my results by assignments and all assignments. That's what I'm going to go to right here. I'm going to go to my module 4. So you can see one that I just completed the other day. So here's module 4. You can see now the reading assignments, the concept checks, and trade terms. Here's my class average. You can do an item analysis, meaning you can go into the actual concept check and see how many students get each question right versus wrong. Good way to kind of see if a lot of your class is getting one question wrong. That might be a reason to review that question. You can see all that data by clicking the little IA here. But if I scroll down, I can see my 2 students, Kobe Bryant and Rajan. Kobe's got a good grade here, 91.6. Rajan has not done it, so I'm not sure what's going on there. He hasn't completed it. So again, that's how you can kind of see it, just one view of at a glance here. If I want to click on Kobe's score to see how he did, I can click on it. This does show me how many got right, his score, how much time he spent. I can make changes to it. So lots of this stuff it shows you in that view of the gradebook. If I go back here, another nice view. Again, you can click on your student overview, get a quick glance of your class as a whole, all your students. I like to click performance by module here. So this is if you assigned module 4 last night and you're going to class today, before you move on too much to module 5 or before you review the entire module 4 section, you can come and take a look. Your class average is 92. You can hit the little plus sign. You can actually see each section and see how your class as a whole did on each section. So I would see here that sections, these bottom 2, everyone got 100, so they must clearly understand that. Probably don't need a lot of review. Maybe these top 2 needs a little bit more review, even though these are pretty good scores, but you'll get the picture. If this was like a 70 average, that might be a reason to say, hey, look, before we move on, let's talk about power drills a little bit more. You guys got to, seem to struggle as a whole there. You can even click on it and see if it's one student bringing you down or not. But that's a nice way to, again, tailor your lectures and review a little bit better. So you're not reviewing and talking about stuff that you really don't need to because your class seems to understand it. This hopefully gives you a little bit more time for the hands-on stuff in the class that we know is so important. Okay, so lots of tools you can use in here to really identify and early on before students fall too far behind, and you can get a good idea of what you need to spend your time on. Again, in the gradebook, you can add your own items into the gradebook. You can add your own columns, meaning extra credit or other items you want to add to this. You can do that, and you can weigh all the grades as you see fit. This is all exportable. You can export this data into an Excel doc. So this is all available for you to use via NCCERconnect. Again, how you like to. Okay, so that's the gradebook. Lots of nice tools that you can use in there. I'm going to go back here to my home page. So one more thing I like to show in the kind of the general overview here is all your instructor resources are available under your Instructor Tools on the bottom here. So if I click Instructor Tools, here you see your instructor resources. If I click on that, you quickly have access to your slide presentations, your lesson plans, your performance profiles, all with one click. You don't have to go anywhere else. They're here for you to download in NCCERconnect. Okay, also under the Instructor Tools is your Assignment Manager. So again, we talked about that earlier when we went into here and we unassigned and assigned certain items using that Change Date and Assign Status button. Well, here you can also create your own assignments. So all that stuff that I've showed, this is all pre-populated stuff by us as the publisher, but you have the ability to create your own quizzes and your own homework assignments. So I'm going to go ahead and click Create Assignment here, and I'm going to create a quiz. So let's just say we want to create let's say a pop quiz here. Quiz chapter or module 5. Okay, that's what I'm going to name it. Hit next. Okay, now if I'm going to do module 5, now it's going to ask me, well, where do I want to get my questions? So I'm selecting here. I'm selecting module 5. Here are all the trade terms, concept checks, and review questions only for module 5. So I can just select a bunch. Again, I can select them blindly like this and select the trade term. Or again, I can click the review option, preview and add. This gives you a kind of a larger view of each question so you can read them. But for the essence of time, I'm just randomly selecting some questions and I click add. So I've selected 11 questions. Again, you can create your own pools. So if you want to create a pool of questions you really like, then you can generate randomized quizzes based off that pool of questions. But in this case, I'm just selecting these 11 questions. You can create your own question, or you can create your own question here if you want to type up your own question. But let's just go ahead now and look at preview and remove. What that means is you can preview the quiz as your student would see it, and you can remove questions you don't like. So here's the trade term. I like that. Click next. Here's a true and false. That's good. Maybe I don't like this question, so I'm going to hit remove on the bottom right here. That just removes it from my pop quiz. So I can go through all of these, make sure I like them. I'm going to X out of here. Let's assume I liked all of those. I did remove that one question, so now I'm down to 10. Now I want to click next on the bottom. I'm ready to move on. This pop quiz is ready to go. I'm going to click next. Now I have to set some parameters for it. So I'm going to make it available today. I'm going to set a due date for, let's make it for Friday the 14th here. The pop quiz module 5 will be due on Friday the 14th. Again, I can scroll down. You can require a password. You can limit the attempts. I am going to give them 1 attempt here. You can put a quiz time, so we'll give them 20 minutes. You can even do a countdown clock if you want. I'm going to select it so you can see it. Scramble the questions so each student gets a different order. Okay, that's enough for me right here. I'm going to click Save and Assign. Okay, so now you can see, if I scroll way to the bottom, there's my quiz, the pop quiz from Module 5. You can see I've created a bunch of pop quizzes here. But here's a pop quiz from Module 5. So now I want to preview it and make sure it looks okay for a student. So I always go back to my main menu. And I select the View Student Home option here, just so I can see what it looks like. Now, if you look here, I can see here it is. I had it due on the 14th. That's my quiz. If I scroll down here, you can see students have that pop quiz module 5 now available to them. I want to preview it. This now gives me, it tells me I have 1 attempt and I have 20 minutes to complete it. Start my test. You can see what it looks like. And if you remember, I gave that 20 minutes and I checked that countdown clock, so it actually counts down here. You don't have to do that, but it is available. You're going to select your answers. Again, it's not giving you any rationales here because this is not homework, it's a quiz. But if I did do homework, it would give me the rationales and give me another chance. Okay, so that's what it would look like. I might as well just complete this quiz here since it's only 10 questions. Skip that. Okay, once you're completed, they'll hit submit. That'll be graded, and they'll be able to see how they fared here. I only got a couple questions right, and see how much time I spent. I can view it in my results here. Okay, so that's how easy it is to create your own assignment. Lots of other customizations that you can do with this NCCERconnect platform. I did do a couple things here. If you ever want to change these buttons on the left-hand side, you can remove them, you can change them, you can reorder them. Like if you look at your module assignment on the left-hand side here, if you want to change the order of these, you can do all of that really easily. You can add buttons. I added a video button here. I had an instructor that wanted to know how they can share a video that they found with students. So I said, well, you can create a button like this, and you just copy that YouTube video they had. And here it is. It plays right within the course. So you can add as many of these as you'd like. You can record yourself lecturing possibly, or something you're doing, maybe a practice skills thing in the classroom that you want to record. I use YouTube as a third-party platform. It's a great way to upload videos to it, and you can just link to them right within here so students can watch them. You can even find, if you have a good video that you know is a quality video, whether it's through NCCER or another reputable site, you can actually upload it into here, and I can go to my assignment manager and create a homework assignment and actually have the student answer questions about that video. So lots of other things you can do with NCCERconnect, a little bit more detailed and more advanced stuff that we're not going to cover here. But again, I thought it was important to show you you can make changes to this, and it's easy to do that. If you go to, I'll show you how this works again. I'm going to go to that class that I just created here, Electrical Level 1. If I did want to make changes, this is a brand new course. I've done nothing to it. All you have to do is click Manage Course here. This is where you can upload school logos, you can edit the theme, you can do quite a bit here. But here's the buttons I was telling you on the left-hand side. So if I wanted to click on module assignments, if I want to reorder, say I cover module 2 a little bit later, I just drag and drop it. So I just reordered that right there. So that'll show up a little bit later. If you want to add a button, this is where you add a button. So remember that video button, I can just call it video. What type of button is it going to be? I always go with the content page. This is kind of a blank slate. So I'm just going to go to content page and click add. That's how easy it is to add a button. There it is in the bottom. I'm going to drag it to the top here. So a couple clicks of a button. I've now added a videos button. I can go back to my main menu. And sure enough, there's our video button. If I open the video button up, it's going to be blank. But to change that, you want to click Manage View on the top right, select Manage. And here's where you would actually enter information you want on there. But again, I'm not going to show you how to do that right here. That's a little bit more advanced, but relatively simple to do. So if you are interested or are curious, please feel free to reach out to your NCCER Executive Director. We will be hosting continued NCCERconnect webinars. We do have lots of recordings on how to add a video. I have a video, it's only about 2 minutes long, shows you exactly what you need to do to get a video to show up in here. So please feel free to reach out. Hope you found this helpful. This is your NCCERconnect Getting Started webinar. If you do have further questions, we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.